Hey there, baby. Smoker's chugging. Hey, I got a new piece of equipment here. You can see in the Weber I've got a Lone Star Grills fire management basket. So I didn't want to put it directly in the smoker because it's fresh out of the box and it's probably got some kind of rust inhibitor on it. So I decided to do a little burn in on the Weber just to get rid of whatever that is. I put some charcoal in it, as you can see, and a couple of the Royal Oak tumbleweeds to get it going. I'm just going to let the charcoal burn out. Hopefully that'll clear it of any kind of rust inhibitor that's on it. And then once that's done, I'll throw it back in the firebox in my old country smokehouse and we'll get to cooking. Right now I just got the top part cleaned out, scraped out all the creosote and everything off the shelves and the walls of the door, cleaned out the water pan, cleaned out the original fire grate, which is supposed to be down here at the bottom, but I found I get better airflow using the cooking grate instead. And right now I have that turned upside down. I thought it would make it easier to fit the Lone Star Grills accessory in there. It didn't, but it does leave a layer between the expanded metal on the bottom shelf and the expanded metal on the bottom of the fire management basket. So we're gonna check this out today. We're gonna cook probably tomorrow a chuck roast. Um, I got a just shy of 6 pound chuck roast from Ben's Meat Market in the Columbus Amish Market, and it's been in the freezer for a few weeks. So I took it out, started it thawing. It's still not there yet, so it's on the countertop thawing the rest of the way today. But I yesterday made a trip and got some sausages. I got cheddar jalapeno and garlic sausages, so I got a dozen sausages to smoke, and that'll probably be what I do today, so we have something to eat for the weekend, and then tomorrow I'll do the chuck roast. Okay guys, this is a close-up picture of the fire management basket, and as you can see, it is very well made. Clean welds, nice and cleaned off. The workmanship, of course, is top-notch, coming from Lone Star Grills. This is the only thing they make that I can actually afford at the moment, so uh, I figured I'd give it a shot. People have been saying very good things about it. Anyway, this is intended for use in their 24-inch and up offset smokers. And the design in the kind of truncated V shape is to allow, uh, when the coals burn down, it concentrates those coals in one area. If you're anything like me and you have the big grill inside the bottom of your smokehouse, you're going to realize that as you burn, the coals are going to kind of spread all over, and when it's time to throw a new log on, it's a little difficult to get those coals piled up in one place without making them fall through the fire grate. So what this does is it automatically does it for you by funneling everything to the bottom with its shape. According to their website, also these side ventilation holes are intended to allow for good airflow to create a secondary burn, which means that any dirty smoke that may be coming off of your logs will meet with fresh oxygen through those ventilation holes, ignite, and turn to clean smoke. So the idea behind this is very well thought out, very well executed. I'll see if it actually works, and I'll continue the review with that information, but that's the idea, and from what I understand, it does work pretty well. And you can see also in the front there, you can see that the bottom is lined with expanded metal, and that expanded metal is not connected to the rest of the basket. The reason for this is that as it burns through or burns out, you can easily go to the hardware store, um, get a small piece, cut it to the size and shape, and throw it in there as a replacement. So you never have to rebuy this basket ever again. The metal is extremely thick. It's 3/16 inch thick steel, and again, very well made, very well put together, as of course you would expect from Lone Star Grills, and it is hopefully going to work as good as everybody says it does. So I'll be trying that out and continue on with the review. One thing I wanted to say about this fire management basket is, besides being extremely heavy duty and well built, this weighed
I think the shipping weight was 26 pounds, and it's every ounce of that when I picked it up. And you can see that the corners have been nicely polished and the welds are good. They're not picture perfect like they would be on their smokers, but they're definitely solid welds and more than clean enough for this type of item. If they were finished or something on the outside, I'm sure they would have finished them perfectly and beautiful, and you wouldn't even see the weld. But again, since this is not a painted part, this is something that goes inside as a fire basket. Um, these welds are good welds, and all the burrs have been polished off of everything. Even the holes that they drilled, these seem shiny. I don't know if you can see that, but they're shiny on the inside, and they're completely free from any kind of burrs that you would catch your hand on. Also, one feature that I neglected to mention, because I don't intend to use it obviously because it's not designed for my smoker. If you are using this in a Lone Star Grill smoker, this square hole in the back of the basket is designed to accommodate the propane starter that you can install in your smoker. So that's one feature I neglected to mention earlier. Um, that I guess if you're using a Lone Star Grill smoker and you have that attachment, that would allow you to use this in order to start your coals directly in it without having to light a chimney, and maybe possibly even start with just logs. I mean, imagine if you put a few splits in there and fired up the propane for 5 minutes or whatever it takes to get them lit. You wouldn't even need to use charcoal to start, which simplifies things even further. As you can see, I just poured in some of the junk charcoal that I have. This is the Royal Oak red bag um, garbage charcoal that I just got at Walmart because it was all I could get my hands on. I have since acquired a bag of my favorite B&B lump charcoal, which is what I will be using when I actually put this in the smoker to start my fire. And then of course I'm going to be burning my maple splits that I've been burning. But I just did want to share those few elements with you. As you can see, the color is darkening a little bit on the metal here, so I'm presuming that is me burning off whatever kind of rust preventative they may have applied. Although it didn't feel greasy, it didn't smell bad when I got it. So whatever they're using, I'm not sure if it's food safe or not. But just to be on the safe side, I didn't want to burn it inside my smoker and deposit those things in my well-seasoned smoker. So I just took this extra added precaution of doing the initial burn-in outside of my smoker, and I think it's going well. So I'm just going to let these coals, I may rearrange them a little bit, get them further up the sides of the basket, and once they burn through, I'll just assume that that's been properly cleaned. I'll let it cool down a little bit, get my insulated gloves on, throw it back into the firebox, and then get the real fire started. So I've got, I guess, an hour or so of this, maybe a couple hours of this going, and once I do that, I'll get on with the cook. But there you go, there you have it. That's the Lone Star Grill's um, fire management basket, and I will include even further information as I discover while cooking, whether it works to expectations or not. I just wanted to show you this as well. I did decide to throw a couple of maple logs on there. These logs had been in my firebox from the end of the last cook. One was on the left was fairly well charred. It had kind of started itself, even though it was on the opposite side of the firebox from the um, where I lit the fire. And the other one was also in there, had not any been charred at all, but was thoroughly dried out. And these logs have only been on there for a minute or two. I just wanted you to take a look and see the dynamic going on here. So you can see that these logs are both kind of up against each side of the basket. And those ventilation holes are throwing oxygen into the fire. And you can see the flames are directed towards the center of the basket, from away from the ventilation holes. And I think, if not, uh, somebody correct me, but I'm pretty positive that that is the intention of the basket. It's to feed oxygen to those logs, help them to burn cleanly. As you can see, they're not even fully ignited yet, but they are not putting off any white smoke. And the flames from them are directed towards the middle of the basket, which would indicate that the air is being funneled in from the outside. And I don't know if you can see the shimmer, the heat shimmer, but there's very little on either side of the basket, so there's nothing going out of those holes. It is definitely drying into those holes towards the center of the basket. And so I'm very hopeful that this will work as advertised. And I will let you know for certain in the chuck roast video to follow. Thanks everybody. Have a great day. God bless. Stay safe. Smokers chugging, baby.